on YouTube. I got something special for you guys today. Today's gonna be a little bit different than just my regular training. I'm gonna show you where I do therapy every day here in Miami. Not every day, but at least 3 times a week. All right, place called Body RX Miami. This is where I get my IV done. This is where I get my trigger point therapy and my cupping done. I usually do this about 3 to 4 times a week. As you guys well know, I've been doing training for a long time, and I've sustained a lot of injuries over the years in my law enforcement career, okay, and as well as my military. So I have to do this stuff just to maintain. I started when I was 16, I'm 38 now. So if I don't do this therapy to maintain the training that I do, then yes, I'm gonna end up broken like everybody says I'm gonna end up. But I've been working on it really hard to make sure that I'm in this for a longer time. So I just wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that I do in regards to how it helps me and what works for me. I'm gonna introduce you to this company. It's called Body RX Miami Anti-Aging. It's a wellness center, and they do tons of stuff. So I just wanted to expose you guys to that so you can see what I do on top of just the training that I do. Oh, so please, how you doing, brother? Doing good? Yeah, bro, let's do it. Guys, this is host Way. This is the guy that fucks me up all the time. All right, these are the girls that work here in the front desk. Say hi to everybody.
Follow me?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Come in here. I'm gonna get the nurse to see you right away. Okay?
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks. So, a fun fact of me and my life, I'm not a big fan of needles.
No.
So when the needle gets on my arm, I'm not gonna be looking at my arm because it's not fun to see a needle stuck in your arm.
So basically with the Athletic Performance Booster, it has essentials of taurine, L-carnitine, L-arginine, magnesium, vitamin C, zinc, B-complex, and glycine. Taurine is basically for anti-inflammatory purposes. The L-carnitine and L-arginine is for increasing metabolism and production of protein. The magnesium can help with muscle spasms. Vitamin C is an essential amino acid that helps with the breakdown of protein and wound healing. The B complex has 8 essential vitamins which help with energy, and glycine helps with the production of collagen.
Alright guys, so I just finished my IV therapy. Now I'm going to be doing my PT, my physical therapy portion of this. I usually do this at least twice a week, and then I'll do cupping once a week. It's helped me a lot in regards to releasing a lot of the tension that I have in my traps and in my back, and also helps with my mobility factor. It's definitely something I recommend to everybody. Josh is going to explain what he does and why he does it to help me in regards to what my issues are personally. So just get a glimpse of what I put myself through.
So anyone who knows Tony knows that he's doing pretty active, technically difficult movements. Not only is he doing the big 3 deadlifts, squats, and bench press, but he's also doing functional training, flipping tires, using hammers, running up hills. His body demands a lot from him. So physical therapy and recovery is just as an important part of his training regimen as are his weight days. For Tony specifically, he has an issue with tight lats, specifically his teres minor and major, and that's impeding his shoulder from reaching external rotation. So this movement right here from him is very limited. In order to deal with that, we open up his lats, we work on his rhomboids, major, minor, his traps, again his teres minor and major on this side, and some of his rotator cuffs. What we usually do for him, we start off with some electricity, some E-stem, maybe a hot pack to alleviate the muscles, bring some blood flow to the surface, and make it easier for me to do my job and a little less painful for him. At the same time, we do some manual therapy and some ART, some sports medicine, where we open up his shoulders, where we open up his traps, but we like to open it up in the position of impediment. For example, if this motion is difficult for him, extending his arm up, then we're going to also work on the muscles in that motion. We also do trigger point on trying to find out where the nerves innervate or where they're most exposed. And a lot of times maybe if I'm working on this area here on his teres minor, he'll feel it run up to his neck, he'll feel it run up to his shoulder, or he might feel it running down his hand. It just depends on what the position is. Other days, his therapy might change drastically. Maybe we'll be working on the low back. Tony's doing a lot of deadlifting, a lot of back squats, and it's a lot of core work. So a lot of times his glutes, his piriformis, his QL get very, very tight. So we do work on those as well. One of the modalities that we do here for him is cupping. Basically, cupping does two things. It's going to bring blood flow to the surface of the tissue where the body can flush out and clean up all the metabolic waste, all the messed up tissue. The second thing it's going to do is going to distract or pull the tissue kind of off of the bone, flexing it and stretching it at the same time. Where you get the more bruising is where your body generally needs it more. We're going to do two techniques. We're going to scrape it along his back, and we're going to keep it on him for about 7 to 10 minutes. So right now I'm gliding over some of his back muscles, and even though we're trying to treat the front of his shoulder and some of his mobility in the front, you might be thinking, why are we working on the back? Most of the time, wherever the pain is present, that's just symptomatic. It's not the cause of the pain. So a lot of times treating the antagonistic or the opposite muscle of where the pain is going to yield more results than actually treating the specific area. Although we will treat the problematic area, the shoulder, and we will work on it, we're going to spend most of the time on the muscles that help that shoulder perform flexion or extension. We're just gliding over the muscles right now, bringing blood flow to them. We're on the traps. And then after about a few minutes, we're going to keep them on. Last but not least, we're going to add these on to specific points on his back. We're going to keep it there for 7 to 10 minutes, having the muscle pull out and having the oxygen and blood regenerated up into the muscle.
YouTube, we are here today at Knockout Zone, like usual and customary, my resident gym down here in Miami, Florida. I'm going to be doing a strength conditioning day today, some explosive movements and some strength work, functional strength work. Something that I haven't done before that I'm a huge proponent of was learning how to fall down, learning how to roll out of falls. Today I'm going to be going over some of the stuff that I do in regards to how I do it and how I learned. Some of you guys, it's known as like the Hondo roll or whatever it may be, but believe it or not, there's been a lot of times in my career where I have fallen down face forward or face planting, and I was able to roll out of it because of all of my experience in mixed martial arts and so on and so forth. So I'm going to be doing some rolls today, and hopefully it'll bring back my memories when I was younger, as well as doing it at 245, 250 is a little bit harder. Obviously, you have to use more explosive energy coming off the ground, considering that I'm going face first. So let's see what I do. For the last about 8-9 weeks, I did some training at the range where I was doing lateral running, lateral sprints with shooting different positions, and I rolled the shit out of my fucking right ankle. It's an old injury that I've had for quite some time. So now I've had to literally, every time that I do any kind of this stuff, I have to tape up my ankle, just try not to make it worse. But it's been lingering, it comes back, comes and goes every so often. You gotta wrap it up, just to make sure that it doesn't get worse. Will it get any better? I'm hoping that it does. Don't know if it will or won't, but gotta put in the time, so, gotta put in the grind. Okay, so as you can see, I've been warming up for a while, done tons of jumps, head first jumps, and then done a lot of 3-foot jumping. Now I'm working my way into the lateral jumping, the forward explosive work. Now I'm doing lateral explosive work. Today I want to do with a 30-pound med ball. I want to do the jumps with the actual 30-pound med ball. And then I'm gonna add some form of functional strength into it and see where we go from there, and see how it goes. Been here about an hour and change already, so trying to work my way up. I've been working my way up from like 2 boxes, 3 boxes, 4 boxes now. Ended up at this right here, which will be the max explosive jump in the beginning. So let's see what I got. So then we're gonna do some lateral jumping, and then we're going straight into a burpee to a squat tire catch, which is going to be made for explosive speed, right, and pushing. And then we're going to do the functional strength aspect, where I'm going to start off with a smaller tire, warm up, and then we're going to go into the bigger tire. We're going to be doing lateral throwing, so it's going to work your hammies, your core, and obviously your explosive hip thrust, and going from one side to the other. Fucking tired. Been here for like 3 hours already, doing a whole bunch of the drills and everything together, and then at the end doing the circuits. Killed me today. That fucking the last tire. I pulled my hammy on the first pull on the last one. I felt it cramp up on me. I wanted to do at least 3 or 4. I ended up doing 3. It's just hard because I pulled the tire out from inside and it was pouring rain, so the tire is soaking wet. So as you can see, the floor is fucking soaking wet. So I kept fucking slipping and I couldn't get the goddamn tire. So shit happens, man. You gotta fucking adapt, you know, and do the best you can with what you have. So I wanted to do that set. I didn't give a fuck. I risked it. Came out okay. That fucking jump, I have to make sure I clear all those fucking boxes, because it was either clear them or my face was gonna go into the last box. Didn't want that either. Kind of like my face intact. So for the rewards and for the goals that you want, you have to risk. You always have to fucking risk. Am I risking here? Yeah, I'm fucking risking. But it's alright, because I'm pushing myself past what I know. Weighing at 250 pounds, I don't usually weigh so heavy. I've been doing a lot of powerlifting, so I'm heavier than I would normally be. So it's a lot more taxing to be as fast and as agile. So it is what it is, but I have to maintain the conditioning that I have. I'll go back down to 240 and be a little bit faster and stay as strong as I am. That's the goal. Today we covered explosive work, a little bit of functional strength, agility work, coordination, something that I haven't done before, which was forward jumping into a roll. I wanted to show you guys some of the stuff that I did for mixed martial arts over the years, how to fall properly, and then obviously did some lateral jumping, some 30-pound med ball jumps, as well as some burpees. I also did burpee tire catches. All right, I did some of that, and then at the end I did some lateral tire throwing over the box. That's max effort strength, what takes a ton out of me. It takes time, it takes effort to push yourself. You're gonna risk. You gotta realize that even though you're scared sometimes, like towards the end, I was a little fearful of the jumping over the boxes, just because if I don't get enough explosive power coming off that jump, I'm gonna eat that fucking last box. So I still did it, pushed through it, and you got to do that. You know, there's things that you're not going to want to do. There's things that you have to realize, you know, live out of the comfort zone. So go out there, on to the next video, and I'll see you on the next one.